Picture this. You're standing on a North Sea oil rig. Suddenly, you wake up to a massive explosion. Your platform is literally on fire. You have just seconds to make a life or death choice. Do you stand still and get consumed by the flames? Or do you plunge 30 meters into the freezing, pitch-black Atlantic Ocean? You are on a burning platform and you have to jump. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're taking a documentary-style look into one of the absolute most dramatic corporate survival stories of our modern era. Fast forward to early 2011, Nokia's newly appointed CEO, Stephen Elop, sent an absolute shockwave through the company with this infamous burning platform memo. He used that exact oil rig metaphor I just mentioned to describe their grim reality. Elop was desperately trying to wake his organization up, you know? He warned employees that Nokia was surrounded by multiple points of scorching heat, specifically the explosive, totally disruptive growth of Apple and Android. He realized a terrifying truth. Competitors weren't just taking market share with better phones, they were taking it with entire closed, powerful software ecosystems. And Nokia, well, they were fighting with the completely wrong weapons.
Let's rewind a bit with Part 1, Rise of a Telecom Giant.
Think back to early 2008. Nokia commanded an unmatched, frankly staggering 40% share of the global mobile phone market. They weren't just participating in the industry, they completely, undeniably defined it. While competitors like Ericsson, Motorola, and Samsung were battling it out for scraps, Nokia's mobile phone production just skyrocketed, leaving everyone else completely in the dust. This unbelievable growth was fueled by really successful, indestructible hardware. I mean, devices like the Nokia 1100 were absolute juggernauts, selling a staggering 250 million units worldwide. It was an era of absolute, undisputed supremacy. So how exactly do you build an empire like that? Well, it was deeply rooted in a telecommunications mindset, where the operator is king. Back in this era, the network operators, the telecom companies, they dictated all the rules of the game. They told manufacturers exactly what they wanted, and Nokia delivered brilliant, super reliable hardware to match. Software? Software was just an afterthought. It was just a basic requirement to make the physical buttons do something. Which brings us to Part 2, the smartphone revolution. Right around 2007 and 2008, consumer expectations changed literally overnight. On one side of the ring stood Apple's iOS and the brand new App Store. Apple fundamentally flipped the game by creating a closed, highly attractive, software-first ecosystem. Once a user bought an iPhone, developers built apps for them, creating this massive gravitational pull that locked users into the Apple world. But on the other side, Nokia was still desperately clinging to Symbian. It was an outdated, totally hardware-centric operating system. It was clunky, it was notoriously hard for developers to build on, and it severely lacked any kind of rich application environment. The battle of individual devices had transformed into an all-out war of ecosystems, and Nokia was basically caught standing perfectly still. The scorecard for missing this massive shift? Absolutely catastrophic. Nokia's market share collapsed at a breathtaking pace. From their peak of nearly 40%, they plummeted to just 3% in a matter of months. Consumers very quickly realized that Nokia's devices lacked the apps and that super slick touch interface utility of iOS and Android. That meant there were incredibly low switching costs. Buyers simply walked away from the brand they once loved without a second thought. Let's peel back the curtain and look at Part 3, internal chaos and denial. The missed opportunities here just compound year after agonizing year. 2007, Apple drops the iPhone. 2008, Google launches the Android Open platform. And how does Nokia respond? Instead of adopting a modern OS, they spent precious years frantically scrambling. In 2010, they tried to patch up their legacy system by launching the N8 running Symbian/3, which, unsurprisingly, completely failed to challenge the iPhone. They also co-developed a new platform called MeeGo, only to totally pivot away from it by 2011 after realizing they were moving way too slowly to save themselves. Internally, things were a mess. Nokia suffered from a deep-rooted, almost emotional attachment to their legacy Symbian system. There was fierce internal friction and turf wars between R&D departments. Combine that with weak digital marketing, corporate fear, and massive bureaucratic delays, and you get complete paralysis. Actually, one Nokia employee famously joked that Chinese manufacturers could build a cheap, fast phone from scratch in the time it took Nokia just to polish an internal PowerPoint presentation. An ex-Nokia executive summed up their fatal blind spot perfectly. They said,
Neither Nokia nor operators understood software, typical telecommunication ecosystem behavior in which operator is the king. They were a hardware company awkwardly pretending to understand an internet-driven, software-first world. They just couldn't let go of the business model and the old assumptions that made them successful in the very first place.
So they had to try something desperate. Part 4, the Microsoft gamble. Rather than swallowing their pride and joining the open Android ecosystem, which, to be fair, would have turned them into just another hardware vendor, leadership took a totally different path to try and save their dying smartphone division. Step 1, Stephen Elop is hired as CEO in 2010. Step 2, in early 2011, Nokia announces a huge strategic alliance, officially selecting Microsoft's Windows Phone as their primary platform and effectively killing their own internal software projects. Step 3, they roll out the Lumia series, which severely struggles to gain any real traction. And finally, step 4, the whole gamble fails to turn the tide. By 2013, Microsoft just steps in and buys Nokia's entire mobile device division for over $7 billion.
Here's the harsh truth about that Microsoft partnership, though. It was really just a cosmetic change to the battlefield. By the time Nokia integrated the Windows Phone OS, the smartphone war was totally over. Android and iOS had already seized the dominant positions, deeply locking in developers, applications, and billions of users. Nokia's massive pivot was simply too little, way too late for the handset market.
So, what can we actually learn from all this? Let's wrap up with Part 5, Essential Business Lessons. Now, while Nokia did eventually manage a really remarkable survival pivot into network infrastructure after all this, their massive downfall in the mobile space offers some absolutely crucial takeaways for the rest of us. Number 1, never ever ignore disruptive technologies, even if they start out looking like a small niche. Number 2, in today's digital ecosystems, software matters just as much, if not vastly more, than hardware. 3, brand loyalty cannot replace continuous innovation. No matter how recognizable your name is, low switching costs will drain your customer base overnight. 4, you have to manage boardroom fear and internal politics, otherwise they will paralyze objective decision-making. And finally, adapt quickly. Organizational agility isn't just a buzzword, it is an absolute non-negotiable requirement for survival. I want to leave you with a final provocative thought here. Every single industry out there faces disruption eventually. The warning signs are usually there, just like they were for Nokia way back in 2007. So the question you really need to ask yourself in your own organization today is this: will you recognize your industry's burning platform in time? And more importantly, when the flames start rising, are you going to jump?